Bullies force the poor girl to bark like dog. Debate champion roasts them speechless. Asterisk, they called her dog girl before they even learned her name. Asterisk, the moment Alina stepped into Crestwood High School, clutching her frayed backpack like a lifeline, she knew she didn't belong. Her shoes were worn, the hem of her thrift store uniform a little too short, and her eyes always looked down. Not out of shame, but habit. Years of blending in had taught her that invisibility was safer than confrontation. Asterisk, but Crestwood didn't allow for invisibility, especially not when the school was ruled by a trio of untouchable elites: Lexi, the flawless queen bee; Bryce, the lacrosse star with a cruel smirk; and Tamra, the social media puppet master with more followers than compassion. They didn't need reasons to bully someone, they just needed a target. Asterisk, and Alina made the perfect one. Asterisk, it started with Snickers, a trip in the hall, a spilled lunch tray. Then came the names: Beggar Barbie, Alina the Mutt, and eventually, Dog Girl. Asterisk, come on, bark. Lexi had laughed one day during lunch. Bark for your scraps, little mutt. Asterisk, her phone was out, recording. Asterisk, Alina had stared at the half-eaten sandwich in her hands. Her stomach twisted. She hadn't eaten since the night before. Asterisk, just a little woof. Bryce added mockingly, we might toss you a chip. Asterisk, Tamra giggled. If she barks good enough, maybe I'll make it go viral. You'd be famous. Asterisk, a crowd had gathered, phones raised, laughter echoing like drums. Asterisk, and Alina, desperate, humiliated, and shaking, had barked, a soft, pathetic sound that wasn't human. Asterisk, that video spread like wildfire. Asterisk, they laughed for days, in classrooms, in hallways, even in the bathroom stalls. Every whisper seemed laced with the sound of her own bark. Asterisk, no teacher stepped in. Asterisk, no friends defended her. Asterisk, and no one ever asked why she hadn't fought back. Asterisk, but if they had, they'd have known about the weight Alina carried. Asterisk, her father, once a bright-eyed teacher, now lay in a hospital bed, paralyzed from the waist down after a car crash. Her mother worked double shifts at a diner to keep food on the table. They'd lost their home. Alina studied by the light of flickering street lamps in a borrowed room from a distant end. She didn't bark because she was weak. She barked because the fight had been beaten out of her long ago. Asterisk, still, something changed after that day. Asterisk, not in the bullies, but in Alina. Asterisk, she stopped reacting. No tears, no protests, just silence. She wasn't invisible anymore, but she made herself untouchable in a different way. Stone-faced, unbothered, she showed up to school, sat in the back, and watched. Not with fear but calculation. Asterisk, because Alina had one secret no one bothered to discover. Asterisk, she was a debate prodigy. Asterisk, back in her old school before the accident, before the poverty, she had been the youngest regional debate finalist. Her voice, once timid, had learned to strike with precision and power. She read books like they were oxygen. She could dismantle arguments with surgical finesse. Words were her real weapon. Asterisk, but here, no one saw her as anything more than Dog Girl. Asterisk, until one announcement changed everything. Asterisk, the annual Crestwood Public Speaking Showcase, a huge event. Judges from colleges, the local mayor. News coverage, the kind of thing the popular kids use to boost their resumes and rake in applause. Lexi, of course, was always the headliner, with her perfect teeth and pre-rehearsed charm. Asterisk, this year's topic, the power of voice in the face of injustice. Asterisk, Alina's hand trembled as she filled out the entry form. Asterisk, people laughed when they saw her name on the roster. Lexi rolled her eyes. What's she going to do? Bark her speech? Asterisk, Tamra snorted. Maybe we should bring biscuits to the stage. Asterisk, but Alina didn't blink. She had waited, watched, endured. Asterisk, and now it was her turn. Asterisk, the night of the showcase arrived. Asterisk, the auditorium was packed. Students, teachers, parents, and the ever-present lens of Tamra's Instagram live feed. One by one, the speakers went up. Polished, polite, predictable. Asterisk, Lexi dazzled the crowd with a flawless smile and a rehearsed speech about using our platforms for good. Polite applause followed. Asterisk, then the announcer called. Next, Alina Remen. Asterisk, silence. Asterisk, people looked around. Some whispered. A few snickered. Asterisk, Alina walked to the podium with slow, measured steps. She wore a simple white shirt and jeans. Her hands were steady. She didn't look like a victim anymore. Asterisk, she looked like a storm. Asterisk, for a moment, she said nothing. Just scanned the crowd. Asterisk, then she leaned into the mic. Asterisk, woof. Asterisk, the audience froze. Asterisk, a few gasps. Some awkward laughter. Lexi smirked triumphantly from the front row. Asterisk, but Alina continued. Asterisk, that was the sound that earned me 15,000 views in 2 days. That was the moment you stopped seeing me as a person. Asterisk, she paused. Asterisk, when a girl is forced to bark like a dog for your entertainment and no one stands up. It's not just bullying, it's complicity, it's cowardice. Asterisk, her voice, soft but strong, filled every corner of the auditorium. Asterisk, I was humiliated, shamed, reduced to an animal. Not because I was weak, but because I was alone. Asterisk, now there was no laughter. Only the weight of her words. Asterisk, I didn't fight back. Not then. Because I had bigger battles keeping my father alive. Holding my mother when she cried from exhaustion. I stayed silent, not because I was scared of you, but because I knew I'd speak when it mattered. Asterisk, she locked eyes with Lexi. Asterisk, and now, I'm speaking. Asterisk, Alina's speech wasn't scripted. It wasn't polished. Asterisk, it was raw. Asterisk, it was truth. Asterisk, she spoke about the cruelty disguised as jokes. The silence of bystanders, the hidden battles poor students face. The way systems reward the popular and punish the vulnerable. Asterisk, and then, her voice shifted. Asterisk, but I'm not here to ask for sympathy. I'm here to reclaim my voice. Asterisk, she looked at the crowd, every student, every teacher who had once looked the other way. Asterisk, you laughed when I barked. Let's see how loud you laugh when I rise. Asterisk, thunderous silence. Asterisk, then, someone stood up. Asterisk, clapped. Asterisk, another joined. Asterisk, then another. Asterisk, until the whole auditorium was on their feet. Asterisk, Lexi sat frozen. Bryce looked like he'd swallowed glass. Tamara's live stream had stopped. Asterisk, Alina walked off the stage, head high. For the first time in months, her hands weren't trembling. Asterisk, the next morning, things had changed. Asterisk, the video was still online, but now, so was her speech. It had gone viral overnight. Asterisk, hashtag voice not victim was trending. Asterisk, messages poured in from other students, from survivors of bullying, from strangers who saw in Alina the fire they once lost. Asterisk, the principal launched a formal investigation. Asterisk, Lexi, Bryce, and Tamara were suspended for harassment. Asterisk, but Alina didn't care for vengeance. Asterisk, she joined the debate team, became its youngest captain in school history, started a podcast for marginalized youth voices. Universities took notice, scholarships followed. Asterisk, but her real victory. Asterisk, one afternoon, she sat alone under the same tree where she used to cry. A younger student approached, nervous, twitchy. Asterisk, I'm scared they're going to start picking on me too, he whispered. Asterisk, Alina looked at him, smiled gently. Asterisk, then, come sit, I'll teach you how to speak. Asterisk, because her story wasn't about revenge. Asterisk, it was about rising and helping others rise too. Asterisk, and from that day on, no one ever called her dog girl again. Asterisk, they called her the girl who roared back and silenced the system.